Before you start watching, please help the channel thrive, give it a like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Din Djarin's iconic Beskar armor glints like a star in the galaxy's darkness, a symbol of strength, resilience, and unwavering loyalty to his creed. But look closer. Beneath that polished surface lies a secret one that challenges the very foundation of the Way. That Beskar, the sacred metal that defines his identity as a Mandalorian, is not pure. It is forged from the spoils of an enemy, repurposed from the regime that committed genocide against his people. The Empire, which scorched Mandalore, hunted his clansmen, and turned his homeworld into a graveyard, is the source of the armor that protects him and his foundling, Grogu. This is the unspoken truth. Din Djarin's most sacred possession is a testament to his complicated relationship with his past and his enemies. It forces him to confront a question no Mandalorian should have to ask. Can honor truly remain pure when it is forged by those who sought to destroy you? For millennia, Mandalorians have viewed Beskar as more than metal. It is a spiritual force, a representation of their resilience, their unity, and their devotion to the creed. To wear Beskar is to carry the weight of their ancestors, to embody the values of the Way. But when that Beskar comes from the Empire, from the very hands that killed countless Mandalorians, does it taint the honor it is supposed to represent? Din's journey is not just about surviving the galaxy's dangers. It is about navigating the murky waters of morality, about reconciling his rigid creed with the pragmatic reality of a post-Imperial world. His armor is no longer just a tool of protection. It is a living paradox, a physical manifestation of the compromises that come with survival, and a mirror that reflects the shifting nature of Mandalorian honor. As we delve into this story, we will expose the tension between tradition and necessity, between purity and pragmatism, and between the enemy's metal and the Mandalorian soul. This is the story of Din Djarin's shifting honor, a story that proves the Way is not a static code, but a living, breathing philosophy that must adapt to survive. Before we move on to the next topic, if you have anything you'd like to dive deeper into from the previous segment, please leave a comment below. Picture the scene. Din Djarin stands in the smoldering ruins of a Navarro cantina, his Beskar armor reflecting the glow of burning debris. Blaster bolts ricochet off his chest plate, harmlessly deflecting into the darkness. He draws his blaster, steady and unflinching, a paragon of Mandalorian strength. Now, zoom in on that armor. Look at the way the light catches its surface, the precision of its forging, the sacred symbols etched into its edges. But then, imagine a flash, an Imperial cog, the symbol of the Empire's tyranny, superimposed over that shining Beskar. It is a jarring contrast, one that cuts to the core of Din Djarin's existence. How can a Mandalorian's most sacred possession, the physical embodiment of his creed, be rooted in the legacy of his people's greatest enemy? This is the Beskar paradox. The metal that gives Din his strength is the same metal that was used by the Empire to wage war against Mandalore. To understand this paradox, we must first grasp the foundational tenets of Din's creed, the Way of the Children of the Watch. For this devout sect of Mandalorians, Beskar is not just a material. It is a sacred gift from the ancestors, a metal that is indestructible, pure, and deeply tied to their identity. The armorer, the wise keeper of their traditions, forges Beskar into armor with ritualistic care, imbuing each piece with the spirit of the Mandalorian people. Beskar is our legacy, she tells Din in the early days of his journey. It protects us, it unites us. It is the very soul of what it means to be Mandalorian. The creed dictates that Beskar must be honored, cherished, and used only in service of the clan. It is a symbol of purity, of unwavering loyalty to the traditions that have allowed the Mandalorians to survive for millennia. To wear Beskar is to make a vow to uphold the Way, to protect the clan, to never shame the memory of those who fell for their people. But the Empire's role in Mandalorian Beskar changes everything. According to canonical records from the Mandalorian sourcebook and Star Wars, the visual encyclopedia, the Empire seized control of Mandalore's Beskar mines during the Great Purge. They forced Mandalorian miners to extract the metal at gunpoint, using it to forge weapons, armor for their Death Troopers, and even components for the Death Star. The Empire saw Beskar not as a sacred legacy, but as a resource, a tool to be exploited in their quest for galactic domination. For the Mandalorians, this was not just theft. It was desecration. The Empire took their most sacred material, stained it with the blood of their people, and used it to perpetrate further violence. When Din Djarin acquires Beskar from Imperial sources, whether by reclaiming it from stormtroopers, accepting it as payment from former Imperial officials, or salvaging it from Imperial outposts, he is not just acquiring metal. He is acquiring a piece of that traumatic history, a reminder of the Empire's atrocities. The question then becomes, can such a tainted material ever be reconciled with the purity of the Mandalorian creed? For Din, this is not an abstract philosophical debate. It is a daily reality. His armor, the very thing that marks him as a Mandalorian, is forged from the enemy's spoils. Every time he deflects a blaster bolt, every time he uses his armor to protect Grogu, he is relying on a material that was once used to hunt his own people. This paradox forces him to confront the limits of his creed. Is the way so rigid that it cannot accommodate the pragmatic reality of survival in a galaxy still reeling from the Empire's fall? Or is the creed's true purpose to adapt, to find strength in even the darkest of circumstances? The Children of the Watch, with their strict adherence to tradition, would likely argue that Imperial Beskar is impure, that using it is a violation of the creed. But Din's experiences have taught him that survival often requires compromise. He was a foundling, rescued by the Children of the Watch after his homeworld was destroyed by the Separatists. He knows what it means to have nothing, to rely on the kindness of others, to do whatever it takes to stay alive. When he takes in Grogu, he makes a vow to protect the child at all costs. If that means using Imperial Beskar to forge armor that can keep them both safe, is that a violation of the creed? Or is it a fulfillment of its most important tenet to protect the clan, to nurture the foundling, to honor the legacy of the Mandalorians by ensuring their survival? The Beskar paradox is at the heart of Din's journey. It is a conflict between strength and creed, between purity and pragmatism, between the past and the present. As he navigates this conflict, Din is not just redefining his own honor, he is redefining what it means to be a Mandalorian in a post-Imperial galaxy. The shine of his Beskar may be tainted by the Empire's legacy, but the honor of the man who wears it is determined by how he uses that metal, by whether he lets it become a symbol of the Empire's cruelty or a symbol of the Mandalorian's resilience. In the harsh reality of the galaxy's outer rim, ideals often take a back seat to survival. For Din Djarin, this truth is embodied in his Imperial Beskar armor. While the material's origin may be morally compromised, its utility is undeniable. It has saved his life countless times, allowed him to protect Grogu, and enabled him to complete missions that would have been impossible with lesser armor. This raises a critical question. When survival is on the line, does the utility of a tool justify its tainted origin? For Din, the answer is a resounding yes. The practical advantages of Imperial Beskar are impossible to overstate. Unlike standard Durasteel or even inferior grades of Beskar, the Imperial refined variant is denser, more durable, and capable of deflecting even the most powerful blaster fire. We see this time and again throughout Din's journey. On Arvala 7, when he faces off against the Mudhorn, his Beskar chest plate absorbs the beast's powerful charges, allowing him to survive long enough for Grogu to use the Force to defeat it. On Navarro, when Moff Gideon's stormtroopers ambush him, his Beskar armor deflects dozens of blaster bolts, giving him the time to fight back and escape with Grogu. On Mandalore, when he ventures into the poisoned surface to seek redemption in the living waters, his Beskar helmet protects him from the toxic fumes, allowing him to breathe and complete his mission. These moments are not just displays of the armor's strength. They are testaments to the life-saving utility of Imperial Beskar. Without it, Din would have died on Arvala 7, leaving Grogu to be captured by the Empire. He would have fallen to Gideon's stormtroopers, robbing the Mandalorians of a potential leader. He would have succumbed to Mandalore's toxic atmosphere, never finding redemption or helping to unite his people. For Din, the choice to use Imperial Beskar is not a choice at all. It is a necessity. In the early days of his journey, Din had few options for acquiring pure Beskar. The Empire had seized most of Mandalore's mines, and the remaining stockpiles were controlled by warlords, bounty hunters, and former Imperial officials. To acquire Beskar, Din had to take what he could get, whether that meant reclaiming it from Imperial remnants, accepting it as payment for bounty hunts, or salvaging it from abandoned Imperial outposts. This was not a matter of convenience. It was a matter of survival. Din was a bounty hunter operating on the fringes of galactic society, with few allies and many enemies. He needed armor that could protect him from blasters, vibroblades, and even lightsabers. Imperial Beskar was the only material that could provide that level of protection. For Din, the means to an end. Argument is not just a rationalization. It is a moral imperative. The end goal, protecting Grogu, upholding the creed, ensuring the survival of the Mandalorian people, outweighs the compromised origin of the tool he uses to achieve it. The creed teaches that the Mandalorians must survive to honor their legacy. If using Imperial Beskar is the only way to survive, then it is not a violation of the creed. It is a fulfillment of it. This perspective is rooted in Mandalorian history. According to the Mandalorian sourcebook, the Mandalorians have always been a pragmatic people. They have adapted to countless threats over the centuries, using whatever tools and alliances were necessary to survive. During the Clone Wars, they allied with the Separatists to fight the Republic. During the Great Purge, they went into hiding, abandoning their homeworld to escape the Empire. Throughout it all, their survival has been their highest priority. Din's use of Imperial Beskar is a continuation of this pragmatic tradition. He is not betraying his creed. He is honoring it by ensuring that he and Grogu, two representatives of the Mandalorian future, survive to carry on the legacy. The utility of the unholy metal is not just physical, it is also strategic. Din's Beskar armor has become a symbol of his reputation as a bounty hunter. It signals to his enemies that he is not to be underestimated, that he can withstand their attacks, that he will not be easily defeated. This reputation has opened doors for him, allowing him to secure high-paying missions, forge alliances with powerful allies, and gain the respect of other Mandalorians. In a galaxy where fear and respect often go hand in hand, Din's Imperial Beskar armor is a strategic asset that has helped him navigate the complex politics of the Outer Rim. But the utility of Imperial Beskar also comes with a cost. Every time Din uses it, he is reminded of the Empire's atrocities. He is reminded of the Mandalorians who died in the Great Purge, of the mines that were seized, of the homeworld that was destroyed. This cost is not lost on Din. He carries it with him, a silent burden that shapes his actions and his decisions. But for Din, the cost is worth it. The survival of Grogu, the survival of the Mandalorian people, is worth any moral compromise. In the end, the utility of unholy metal is a reflection of Din's character. He is a warrior who values action over ideology, who prioritizes survival over purity, who understands that the creed is not just about following rules, it is about protecting the things that matter. Imperial Beskar may be tainted by the Empire's legacy, but in Din's hands, it becomes a tool of redemption, a way to honor the Mandalorians who fell by ensuring that their legacy lives on.